Hey folks, this is Jeff, aka 101 Bronson, back here with the next installment of my Al Pacino review series. Last episode, we took a look at the 1975 classic Dog Day Afternoon, which, as we discussed, is a great film. And Pacino did feel very exhausted after that film, and he was sort of um, done with movies for a while. He returned to the stage to sort of recharge his battery, etc., etc. Because if you look at his films right there, you have Panning Needle Park 71, Godfather 72, two movies in 73, which were Scarecrow and Serpico, followed on in 74 with The Godfather Part 2, which was a massive production. Following on that is Dog Day Afternoon. So within a few years, he really put a lot of effort and work into the film. So end result is we wouldn't get a Pacino film for 2 years, and he came back in 1977 with today's film. Bobby Deerfield, directed by Sidney Pollack, starring, of course, Al Pacino, Marthe Keller, and also Anny Duperey, which I hope I pronounced that right, which is a tragic love story, which at this point is a very much a departure for Pacino. I mean, you can sort of say the Panning Needle Park is maybe a tragic love story as well, and in a way it is, but this film is really a full-on, romance story, drama. Um, I guess what a lot of people might call a so-called chick flick. Who knows? I think this is, if there's any film in Pacino's career which could be considered chick flick, this is certainly one of them. I think I could think of maybe one more, but anyway, it's a very interesting film because this sort of was a big, a little bit of a gamble actually, because if you look previously, Pacino did crime stories, more personal character stories, stuff like that. So this really is a sort of a turn. So did it pay off? Well, that is what we are going to be taking a look at. So join me for the review of 1977's Bobby Deerfield. Here we go. The plot for Bobby Deerfield, based on a book I should add, goes as follows. Bobby Deerfield is a famous American race car driver on the European circuit, Formula One, who goes to a clinic in Switzerland after two of his fellow race car drivers have a big accident fatal for one of them, severely injuring the other, who was sent to said clinic. And Deerfield is obsessed with finding out what happened, as it seems impossible and improbable to him that the accident should have occurred on the particular section of the track on which it happened. While in the clinic, he meets a terminally ill woman named Lillian Morelli, played by Marthe Keller, who decides to tag along with Deerfield on the drive back, hoping he could drop her back off home in Italy. Determined to go out on her own terms, she does a lot of eccentric things that Deerfield at first isn't fully on board with, but learns to loosen up and go along with it. A relationship blossoms between them as she teaches him to open up and love life, while she's slowly moving closer and closer to her own death. Some trivia: Al Pacino actually got his driver's license and learned to drive for this film. Him being from New York and most of his films taking place there, he never really felt the need to do so before, as he always got around by the subway, etc. Thus, he learned for this film. So yeah, it's a full-on love story ending in a tragedy, but one that is very well handled in my opinion, and both Pacino and Keller, who actually were a real-life couple at the time, they have great chemistry and they deliver excellent performances in this piece, which is very nicely directed by Sidney Pollack. I have to give a special shout out to the cinematographer of this film, Henri Decaë. I probably butchered that, but he really photographs and lights the film wonderfully, and in fact it's probably one of the best looking Pacino films in that regard, with some wonderful widescreen cinematography of the European landscapes and of the actors. In fact, in my opinion, Pacino has rarely been photographed this well, with some really good lighting and close-ups done on him in this film. Only rivaling this is probably Scarface, which has also some very nice close-ups, etc. on him, and some great cinematography, but we're going to get to that later. Pacino, for my money, delivered one of his most underrated and overlooked performances here, and is yet again excellent in this movie. He was nominated at the Golden Globe Awards for Best Actor in a Drama, but sadly didn't pick up the win. This was the only nomination the film got, and overall it was sort of a flop at the time. From what I could find, the film was made on a budget of about $6.4 million, and it made only about $9.3 million in the US, which for 77, the times were different. It was considered, anything above the budget was considered a profit, so it made some money, but yeah, it definitely wasn't a huge hit. I couldn't find out the worldwide gross, unfortunately. I'm sure it made a bit more overseas. But yeah, people didn't take to this Pacino film at the time, and critically the film also got mixed reviews. Myself personally, I never really minded the film and actually think it's very underrated. Pacino gives a excellent performance, as does Marthe Keller, and the film is beautifully shot and directed. I have only a very few minor issues with the film myself, and think that people should check this out more. It's actually very underrated and very good. 7.5 stars out of 10 is my rating on it. A underrated gem that deserves more appreciation and reappraisal. Honestly, if you haven't seen this already, I'd say definitely give it a watch. It's gonna be worth it, especially for Pacino fans. You see a performance of his and a side to him that you don't really see. He's more sensitive. He's more. It's a more subdued performance for Pacino. It's excellent stuff. So 7.5 stars out of 10. A recommendation from me. Although yeah, again, it is a love movie, love story. So you do have to be sort of in the mood for a love story. I know, it's a particular genre. It's not usually for everyone, but if you are in the mood for it, I'd say give this one a watch. It's beautifully acted, beautifully directed, beautifully shot. It's absolutely wonderful. So that's my review for Bobby Deerfield.
I'm going to tell you something, and I don't want to scare you or anything. But I find you irresistible.
Hey guys, have it. That was the review for 1977's Bobby Deerfield. Yeah, like I said, for me personally, it's a very underrated gem. Pacino delivers a really excellent performance, beautifully shot and photographed, beautifully directed by Sidney Pollack. Yeah, there's really not many flaws that I have with the film personally. Maybe, the pacing, it could have maybe worked out a little faster and stuff, maybe something like that, but very minor things for me, honestly. Yeah, honestly, I don't have many faults with this film. I recommend it. Unfortunately, like I said, people at the time didn't really respond to it. Audiences didn't respond to it. Critics didn't. Um, so Pacino disappeared for 2 years again, and he came back in the film we are going to be covering in the next episode, 1979's courtroom drama, And Justice for All, which Pacino classic, that one. So we are we only sort of have this one dot in between, and then we are onto another what people consider a classic. I would honestly consider this film, today's film, a minor classic as well. But And Justice for All, next week's film, is definitely gonna be a great one. Looking forward to watching that and reviewing that for you guys. So join me then, and until then, this has been 101 Bronson signing off, saying keep punching, keep watching great films, and we shall see each other very soon. Take care.